Mod from the GMS, the End is Near 2 camp. Want to give all praises to Yahawah, Sham, Yahawashi. Double honors to the elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to all the sincere Akim. Today, I basically have an article. It's from the New York Times. It's called "The Treasures of Chaco Canyon Are Threatened by Drilling," and it's talking about, of course, how the so-called white man is coming in, which is Esau, Edom, according to the Bible, which are the so-called Caucasians and so-called white people, as we call them. And basically, this article I'm gonna bring out a couple scriptures about the fact that you're not supposed to move landmarks, which in this case is talking about this historical place. Um, it says a rare circular structure at del Arroyo, a great horse in Chaco culture, National Historical Park in New Mexico. It says in a remote high desert of northwestern New Mexico lie the threatened ruins of Chaco Canyon, arguably the most significant cultural site on public land in the United States. The canyon and the surrounding region contain the remnant of great houses, uh, uh, kivas, ancient roads, sacred places built a millennium ago by indigenous people who became proficient in architecture, agriculture, astronomy, and arts. And it says everything we know about them comes from these ruins and the artifacts they left behind. But it appears now that much of it could be at risk by the Trump administration's unseemly haste in allowing oil and gas drilling nearby, which, I mean, it shouldn't be. In reality, you know what I'm saying, they shouldn't be letting them do this or whatever, but you know what I'm saying, they're wicked and they're Edomites, so they're gonna do whatever they gotta do to make money and basically humiliate, degrade, desecrate our ancient ancestors sites basically. It says everything we know about them comes from the ruins of the architecture they left behind, but it appears now that much of it could be at risk by the Trump administration's unseemingly haste in allowing oil and gas drilling nearby. It says in the early years of the 20th century, when archaeologists and others became alarmed by the plunder and damage to some of these accessible and fragile sites, Chaco Canyon was a chief catalyst for Congress to protect such places on federal land by authorizing the president to declare them national monuments. President Theodore Roosevelt accepted that authority by signing the Antiquities Act in 1906. The next year, he invoked it to declare Chaco one of the first national monuments deserving the protection of the United States government. It is now owned and operated by the National Park Service. And as you can see, the ruins of the houses and all that stuff they uh, built them out of stone. Um, uh, it says another large structure known as great houses that were built by indigenous inhabitants of Chaco Canyon. Unfortunately, the Park Service jurisdiction is limited to the canyon itself and does not extend to the vast remainder of what's known as the Greater Chaco region. The surrounding area is the domain of the Bureau of Land Management (BLM) and the Bureau of Indian Affairs, whose mission, unlike that of the Park Service, do not emphasize protecting historical significant sites. Nonetheless, the two agencies agreed to defer all new drilling leases within a 10-mile radius of Chaco until the consultation could be completed with affected communities and tribes. Now, well before the construction has been completed, the Bureau of Land Management district manager says the Bureau plans to lease 26 parcels of land in the area next March. While none lie within a 10-mile radius of the park, one of them is just barely outside it, and others are close. It is not known what other structures or artifacts lie buried beneath the desert floor in the Great Chaco region. It says, nor can it be known until proper surveys are undertaken. Largely for that reason, the governors of northern New Mexico pueblos and Navajo Nation, which have geographic, ancestral, historical, and sacred ties to Chaco, recently called for a memorandum on all drilling in the area until the consultation had been completed. Almost simultaneously, a group of archaeologists and other scientists issued a report calling for strong protection of Great Chaco and its remarkable complex of other charcoal linked sites in the four corner region. They specifically recommended the use of new satellite and large, so like laser imaging technologies that can locate underground structures invisible to the naked eye. So basically, you know what I'm saying, they're trying to get this place protected because they don't know, it might be like ruins or something underground or something buried that has some significance to it. You know, so man, yeah, and I mean, I'm just looking at this here. These are like the ruins, but you can see kind of the outline of how grand, or the architecture or what they did, how to build something like this in the desert. I mean, I'm you can't really tell, but I'm just looking at what it looks like, how it used to be, and all this. It looks like it used to be something, nice, or like they were saying earlier about the architecture. They really had skills, what I'm saying, and built, all those stones that it looks like that is made out of, gathering all those stones and finding the right stones to put them in place and build that structure or whatever. When, I mean, you would just think, what I'm saying, Esau makes it like Gad, they just lived in teepees or whatever, but not all of them lived in, what I'm saying, teepees. They had built structures like this, as you can see. All right. It says, once drilling begins with no restrictions on the use of fracking under the existing management plan, under the existing management plan, the site is likely to end up on an even more dangerous course to a bad ending. More than 400 fracking wells have been approved already in the region. The closer the drilling gets to the Chaco itself, the more it destroys the context and views of the site and its sacred places to which living people still have a spiritual connection. The tribes also fear that this invasive activity can contaminate both land and water. Because once they start building or fracking or whatever, the people that's living there, what I'm saying, just like the video I did before this one, I was talking about that. It contaminates things. That's why they had those protests in North Dakota or whatever, because they knew it was going to contaminate the water and destroy the earth and all this. And it's just like Esau just don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? He's just trying to destroy the earth. He's just a parasite. It says the tribes also fear this invasive activity can contaminate both land and water. Finally, as we have learned elsewhere, concentrated fracking, when coupled with the injection of salt water into the uh, disposal wells, can lead over time to multiple earthquakes. Phenomena that, combined with the impact of heavy trucks, would almost certainly be more than these fragile structures could withstand. One need only look at the pot, uh, pot, Salakia, potch marked face of neighboring Oklahoma, especially around uh, Cushing. Their officials worry that earthquakes caused by this process seriously threaten a large oil tank farm. Just like I just kind of know figured it out, but it was like maybe 2 or 3 days ago in Delaware. It was an earthquake, but it's like you could feel it in Pennsylvania. But it's like most of the I'm saying, so-called most of our people, they don't really even think about that. You know what I'm saying? Like We don't live in like Florida, how Florida and the down south they got hit with those hurricanes and all that, but up here we could get hit with like earthquakes and it really could destroy stuff. You know what I mean? That's what our people don't really understand because they're trying to do a lot of fracking and all that stuff in Pennsylvania more than they were doing before. Basically, when you take out all the oil, you know what I'm saying, the tectonic plates and all that stuff, you know what I mean, it creates like earthquakes. So let's see. Let's see. Well, man, that's pretty much it. I mean, we know that the so-called white man he don't have any respect for our people, or whatever, and basically, I just have a couple scriptures basically proving you Deuteronomy, yeah, in the law that you're not supposed to remove landmarks. So this is Proverbs 22 and 28. It says, "Remove not the ancient landmarks which thy fathers have set." And these are the ancestors. These are the landmarks or sites that the Gadites slash Issacharites have basically set up and established for their people. Proverbs 23 and 10. "Remove not the old landmark and enter not into the fields of the fatherless." So Esau basically killed off our people, stole their land or whatever. It was like it would be wise for him not to even basically come in and kill off our people and continue doing the wickedness that he's doing. But just like any kind of devil, a so-called white man, he really doesn't have any fear or respect for our people. So that's why he basically continues to do what he does. So this is Deuteronomy 19 and 14. It says, "Thou shalt not remove thy neighbor's landmark, which they of old time have set, and thine inheritance which thou shalt inherit in the land that the Lord thy power giveth thee to possess it." And these are the so-called Gadites slash Issacharites. Their fathers set up these landmarks for who knows what. I mean, who knows what those sites, what they were for. They could have been a altar or something, you know what I mean? Who knows what it is, you know what I mean? But I'm sure that the ancestors, the descendants of them, they probably have a clue what it is. But you know what I'm saying, Esau, he don't give a fuck. Like the thing with the Dakota Access Pipeline, it was a ancient burial site, you know what I'm saying? And Esau, they were asking, can they not, do anything, mess with it? And they just came over there and just with fucking bulldozers or whatever and just plowed that stuff down without even caring. Sprayed the people with like water cannons or whatever it was, you know what I'm saying? They just didn't care. So this devil, the same way he didn't have any respect for us back then, he don't have any respect for us now. He's showing you that every day. I mean, this is Deuteronomy 27 and 17. It says, "Cursed be he that removeth his neighbor's landmark, and all the people shall say amen." So it's it's talking about Esau, or you use this concept, it's talking about Esau, that he's removing so it says, "Cursed be he that removeth his neighbor's landmark." And the word curse in Hebrew is rai, and it basically means for the Most High to bring down evil or punishment or something negative to somebody. So that's what's going to happen to the so-called white man. And we get into that every week: slavery, suffering, death. The same thing he gave us, which the scriptures say, "It is a right thing to recompense them that trouble thee," and we're the apple of the Most High's eye. So why would you think that the Most High, Yahawah, isn't going to basically punish Esau, Edom, for what they've done? So this is Job chapter 24, verse 2. It says, "Some remove the landmarks, they violently take away flocks and feed thereof." So Esau takes away landmarks and he takes it away violently. If Gad or Issachar, if they don't give Esau what he wants, he's gonna just take it by force. And that's basically, what's going on and what's happening. All right. So, with that, I hope this is edifying. I want to give all praises to Yahawah Bashem Yahawashi. Double honors to the elders of Great Millstone, and shalom to all the sincere Akim.